Are we live? It looks like we are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Pop Culture Asylum. I'm your host, Gabriel. I hope everyone's having a great day. I definitely am, and I hope everyone who is watching this video is also having a great day as well. And yeah, so I'm not going to lie. This is my take 2 of this video. Okay, originally, I was originally doing this video, but unfortunately, I had some technical difficulties with my computer for some strange reason. That like everything just like shut down, like everybody, and it was bad. I was pissed off about the entire thing, but now we're back. I checked the technical difficulties and I was able to fix them. But yes, now everything should be good. Hopefully, everything should be good. Okay? So, yeah. So, I'm going to keep things short and sweet. The only things I'm going to go over are basically the Smackdown review because I did promise you guys that I was going to review the first Smackdown after the draft. And I'm going to do the same thing to Monday Night Raw this Monday. Or like I'm more than likely going to make the review either next Monday or next Tuesday for Monday Night Raw, the first episode of Monday Night Raw after the draft, which is already not off to a good start because as they already announced, they announced a fucking rematch between RK Bro versus AJ Styles and Omos for the Raw Tag Team Championships. Yeah, that makes no sense. Like, they're saying like, oh, this is a new era, yet they're already giving us a rematch right off the bat. How fucking hilarious. But I'm also going to talk about AEW Dynamite, which was last night, which I did go and see live, and holy shit, it was so much fun. So much fun. So I cannot wait to talk to you about my experience at AEW Dynamite. But before we talk about the shows tonight, I'm going to talk about the news. Now, there are two pieces of news that are fairly big. Like, obviously, there's been some news going out. Like, there's been a good amount of news this week. But these two are the two biggest ones. So, let's first talk about the elephant in the room. Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch. I'm just going to go straight into this. So, last Friday, there was a title exchange segment between Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair, right? And apparently, like, obviously, it was a horrible-ass segment. It was a cringy-ass segment. It really devalued the championships. How Becky and Charlotte, how everything that happened in this segment was an absolute disgrace to both the Raw Women's Championship and the SmackDown Women's Championship. Either way, the title, like, that segment shouldn't even have happened in the first place. Okay? But apparently there was an altercation backstage following this segment. So here's what it has to say. I am reading this from PW Insider. So if you guys want to read the article, the links are in the description. But here's what it has to say. There was a backstage confrontation between Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair following last night's Friday Night SmackDown taping in Wichita, Kansas. PWInsider.com has confirmed with multiple sources. We are told an issue arose after Charlotte Flair was said to have voiced concerns before WWE went on the air, concerned about the championship exchange segment that featured Becky Lynch training her SmackDown Women's Championship belt for Flair's Raw Women's Championship belt. We are also told by several who were prior to the situation that Flair was voicing that she didn't want to look weak, nor did she want her title reign to look weak during the segment. Despite those concerns, the segment went on as planned to close SmackDown. During the championship exchange segment, there was also a moment where Flair was to hand the belt to Becky, but instead pulled away and threw the belt on the match, which was not the way the exchange was expected to go. At this point, Sonia Deville demanded Flair to retrieve the belt and hand it to her, which Flair did. Deville then asked Becky title, but instead Lynch threw the title belt at Flair, which was also now part of the plan. Update. There's also an update to this. Our original report last stated that Becky throwing a belt wasn't part of the plan. Wasn't a part of the plan segment. But now we are told that it was. That it happened differently than the original plan after Flair dropped the belt, which I'm not a fan of. Like, Becky should have thrown the title, period. It's stupid. But I digress. After Flair and Banks had their physical confrontation close to the Fox broadcast, Flair went to the back. We were told at this point that there was a confrontation between Lynch and Flair over Flair allegedly disrespecting Lynch by trying to make her look bad. As one source said during the segment, there was loud words between the two. We were told that the situation was heated, but it did not get physical. And there is also more on the situation. At no point was Flair, as we noted last night, Charlotte Flair has been arguing against being made to look weak in the segment among those we were smoking with. She was also seen as the person responsible for the segment not going as planned. At no point was Flair to pull away the Raw Women's Championship belt from Becky Lynch. We are told that was not rehearsed or even suggested to the talent. While Flair pulled the title away, the belief among those backstage we have spoken is that it was done to make Lynch look stupid by being one up and having to pick up the belt. Sonia Deville instead made Flair get the belt and hand it to Deville, leading to Lynch during the Smackdown Women's Championship at Flair, which we are now told originally scripted to happen. Our original report last said that it wasn't, but now we are told that it was. But it has happened differently than originally planned. We have updated our original report from last night to reflect this. The backstage argument after the segment took place in the gorilla position. After the confrontation, we were told that Flair was asked to leave the venue to avoid any further issues. We were also told that she was escorted out by a WWE official. There is heat on Flair in certain circles for disrespecting Lynch, and some who felt Flair took a segment that was supposed to build herself versus Sasha Banks, but instead put all the tension back on herself and Lynch. When Banks was being placed into a position to be a top babyface with the SmackDown brand, there were some who felt this undermined Banks, whether this was a planned strategy or not. There was no heat on Lynch. It was seen that she was pushed to a boiling point, leading to her confronting Flair. Hadn't gone physical, it may have been seen different, but after it was seen within the locker room that Lynch was standing her ground, protecting herself after being pushed too far. On the Flair side, we were told that she was very upset coming out of the situation. There were some who wondered if Andrade El Idolo's LFU WWE treat was in relation to the Flair Lynch situation, not his match on AEW Dynamite, given it was sent out within an hour of when the confrontation would have gone down in Wichita. For those who asked whether Flair was using this as a way to get out of her WWE deal to go to AEW, that's likely not the outcome here. We were told Flair has years left on her current deal. It's not likely that WWE is going to let anyone walk out to TNT if they deem them as an important asset. Yeah. So, my God. This is an absolute mess. This is an absolute mess. And honestly, I blame all of this on WWE. Because if WWE did something a little more creative, like this segment shouldn't have even happened in the first place. I don't even know why the champions even got drafted to different brands. They honestly should have made a rule in the draft that the champions are not allowed to get drafted because they are the champions of that show. But does WWE go with logic? No, they don't. That's basically one of the biggest problems WWE have. They fucking ignore logic. So now because Becky Lynch, who is now the SmackDown Women's Champion, being drafted to Raw, and Charlotte, who is now the Raw Women's Champion, being drafted to SmackDown, it's just one convoluted mess. It's all one convoluted mess. Okay? And this segment didn't need to fucking happen in the first place. Like, you mean to tell me you could have been a little more creative? These title exchanges are fucking lazy and uncreative. Okay? It pisses me off to the core that we got these segments that are even happening in the first place. You would think that WWE would have this all planned out. But no, WWE likes to do things on the fly, and WWE it ends up biting WWE in the ass. Okay? Now, looking at this, I feel like Charlotte Flair, honestly, here's how I see it, right? I think even Charlotte Flair is starting to get irritated with WWE's bullshit. I think she's starting to get very, very irritated with WWE's bullshit. Okay? And if that's the case, that is completely justified. Okay? There was also a report that Charlotte Flair wanted to lose to Bianca Belair. She wanted Bianca Belair to go over. But instead, WWE decided to go the disqualification route, as always, because WWE are a bunch of lazy fucks. Okay? This title exchange didn't need to happen. It didn't need to happen. Okay, shit. You could have done this off screen. Okay? But no, they decided to do it on TV. Even though people backstage, there was a report that people backstage were against this title exchange happening. But they went with it anyway. They went with the stupid idea anyways. And now we have to deal with all this controversy with Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch. Honestly, all of this could have been avoided. All of this could have been avoided if they just not did this shit in the first place. All of this could have been avoided with one or two routes. Either not draft them to different brands, okay, or give either not draft them to different brands, or just do it off screen. Or third, try to be creative about the entire situation. Honestly, I just gave you 3 reasons on how to avoid this. But no, does WWE fucking think? Hell no. They don't. And it's now biting WWE in the ass. Okay? And apparently, they managed to piss off Charlotte Flair, who is probably one of their biggest stars. Okay? Now, do I think that it was necessary for Charlotte Flair to be unprofessional? Yes, it was completely unnecessary. Okay, yes, you can be frustrated. And if it's true that Charlotte Flair is frustrated with WWE's bullshit, then that's completely justified. But that doesn't excuse you being unprofessional in the show. It doesn't excuse that. Okay? Yeah, the title exchange fucking sucks. It's fucking lazy. Okay? And she tried everything in her power to stop it, but obviously that was a fail. Okay? So, yeah, it didn't go your way. But is it worth it trying to, be unprofessional and do all that? Charlotte Flair is lucky that she's a big star, because if that was not the case, she would have been fired on the spot. Okay? She is lucky she's a big star. Okay? This entire situation is just an absolute mess. And there's also been reports that that Charlotte Flair was a problem beforehand. Like, a lot of ladies had a problem with Charlotte Flair even before this title exchange segment. Okay? And if it's true that Charlotte Flair's like ego has been getting out of control, then that is just extremely unacceptable. Unacceptable. Okay? Now, again, it's okay for Charlotte Flair to be frustrated with this entire situation. Okay? It's completely understandable. But it doesn't give you an excuse to be unprofessional and embarrass, like, you know what I mean? Or trying to embarrass like Becky Lynch and like embarrassing the people that are associated with this segment. Okay? Like, I don't know, man. Like, I think Charlotte Flair's ego is getting a little too out of control to the point that, like, she can just do this shit and just get away with it, which is obviously not the case. Again, if Charlotte Flair was not a big star, she would have been fired on the spot for her unprofessionalism. Okay, it's just... it's just, this entire situation is an absolute mess. And WWE has no one to blame but themselves. No one to blame but themselves. Because this segment did not even need to happen in the first place. Okay? And yes, was it wrong that Charlotte Flair was being unprofessional? Yes. Okay? And again, there's rumors that she's unprofessional even before this segment was happening to a bunch of other ladies, which is also unacceptable. Okay, Charlotte Flair's ego needs to be checked. They need to be checked. Okay, unacceptable. Absolutely unacceptable. Okay, so yeah, that's all I gotta say on that. So now that we talked about that, let's quickly talk about Smackdown on last Friday. So, again, nothing really happened. This is supposed to be the first episode of the Smackdown after the draft. It's supposed to be like a new era. Nothing in this show screamed new era. Okay? Honestly, there's just like 2 to 3 things that happen on this show that require like new era-esque. Okay, but like, I don't know. It was an okay show. I won't go out of my way to say it was bad, but it was Let's just go over it real quick. So we started off the SmackDown show with a segment with Roman Reigns, right? So apparently Roman Reigns is still sus about Paul Heyman because Paul Heyman threw the title and not giving it to Roman Reigns last Thursday at Crown Jewel. Reigns called out Lesnar and basically held the show hostage. Lesnar comes out. He destroys Roman Reigns. He destroys the Uso. He's pissed. He's destroying referees, cameramen. Superstars trying to come out. Cesaro comes in. Cesaro of all people managed to calm down Brock Lesnar, which I thought it was cool. And then Adam Pearce comes out, and then he basically just fucking suspended him. And Lesnar destroys Adam Pearce. Now, I'm not going to lie. I thought this was a cool segment. This was a really, really entertaining segment. My only gripe with it is that it took 1/3 of the show away. Like, it took an unnecessary amount of time. Honestly, they should have saved this for as the final thing in the show, except for that instead of that horrendous Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch title exchange segment, because that shit was just god awful. They should have saved this for the main event, as the main event segment. But obviously that was not the case. But yeah, it was still a great segment. My only gripe with it it just took an unnecessary amount of time. So yeah, I wasn't a fan of that. But other than that, very entertaining segment. After that, we had Naomi and Sonia Deville. They had a confrontation. Naomi wanted a rematch against Sonia Deville. And I'm loving this storyline so far. But Sonia Deville says, like, hell no, just get out of my face before there's consequences coming your way. So Naomi begrudgingly leaves. And then after that, we get an open challenge with Drew McIntyre. So Drew McIntyre comes out. He faces Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn answers the open challenge. And by the way, Sami Zayn got a new theme. And his new theme sucks. I don't know why WWE had to change Sami Zayn's theme. I thought that was very dumb. But I thought it was a really good matchup between Drew McIntyre and Sami Zayn. Drew McIntyre wins, defeating Sami Zayn. After that, we get the coronation of King Xavier Woods. And I'm very happy for Xavier Woods winning King of the Ring. But nobody attacked Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston. Nobody ruined the segment. Like, this would have been the perfect opportunity to literally debut somebody new in this segment. I thought this was a very missed opportunity. And honestly, I just didn't care about this segment because it didn't, like, advance any storylines. Like, nobody attacked Xavier Woods to Kofi Kingston to start any storylines. So why should I care? Honestly, why should I care? Like, I mean, good for Xavier Woods. He's King of the Ring. Amazing, but yeah. After that, we get Mansoor versus Mustafa Ali, which, why a rematch? We just saw this last Thursday, which was 24 hours ago on Friday. Like, we already saw this matchup at Crown Jewel, and you're going to do the same match on SmackDown the next day? And not only that, but it was a shorter time. How does that make any sense? Like, honestly, there's no, like, you got new faces on your show. There's no reason for you guys to keep doing fucking rematches. It makes no sense. But Mansoor picks up the victory over Mustafa Ali. It was okay. I don't care though, because I already seen this matchup. Okay? Not only that, but considering that WWE is kind of lacking in tag teams, I'm still pretty salty that WWE broke up Mansoor and Ali for absolutely no fucking reason. Okay? It's not like they're going to be big deals on SmackDown anyway. Do you guys really think that WWE are going to treat Mansoor and Mustafa Ali as a big deal on SmackDown? Not really. Not really. So there's that. After that, we get small promos from Rich Holland, Aaliyah, Angel Garza, and Humberto Carrillo, and Sheamus. And again, it's just promos trying to promote themselves being new faces on SmackDown. After that, we get the debut of Hero. And it was a good debut. Like, they had a good promo coming out. Great chemistry. That's one of the reasons why I love Hit Row. Like, the chemistry is just amazing. But it was just a glorified squash match. That's it. So, yeah. That's all I got to say on that. Nothing too crazy there. After that, we get an interview with Sonia Deville. Basically, she's being interviewed on how Adam Pearce's condition is after he got absolutely demolished by Brock Lesnar. And basically, in this interview, Sonia Deville basically talked crap about Adam Pearce without saying that she's talking crap about Adam Pearce. Okay, that's basically what this was. After that, we got Shinsuke Nakamura going one-on-one against Baron Corbin in a championships contenders match. And I just want to say, championship contenders matches are stupid. They're stupid. I'm not a fan of them at all. Whatever happened to number one contendership matches? Honestly, what happened to number one contendership matches? Okay, like I want people to earn it. Okay, and I know some of you might be saying, but like isn't the opponent like isn't the opponent fighting the champion, like trying to earn their opportunity? Yes, technically, but at the same time, you want to protect your champion. You want to protect your champion. Okay, you still want your champion to look strong. So just do a number one contendership match between two guys, and the winner face the champion. Okay, and the champion can still look strong. Okay, I don't know why these championship contendership matches had to happen. But, yeah, so Baron Corbin defeated Shinsuke Nakamura. It was an okay match. Corbin's a now number one contender for Shinsuke Nakamura's Intercontinental Championship. And, yeah, I like how WWE haven't done anything with Shinsuke Nakamura's title reign. Like, all he had was 2 matches with Apollo Crews for the IC title. And that's it. That's all he has done. And instead of building up Shinsuke Nakamura and building up the Intercontinental Championship, you have him either, number one, just doing concerts for no reason, or you just have him lose. Like, I don't know. Like, the way they're booking Shinsuke Nakamura in the Intercontinental Championship is just horrendous so far. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. It originally had promise, but they basically have done nothing with Shinsuke Nakamura's title reign. They have done nothing so far. Okay, and something tells me that we might see a title change. Like, I think they might give the title to Baron Corbin, which I hope to God that is not the case. Okay? And I don't know. I'm just not a fan of championship contendership matches. There should honestly be number one contendership matches. There should. Okay? Have like wrestlers fight in a number one contendership match. Okay? While the champion is watching, and like, you guys get what I'm saying? Like, there's nothing wrong with number one contendership matches. But no, like, WWE avoids them like the fucking plague. It makes no sense. So after that, we get to the title exchange segment, which was the main event segment of the show. And like I said, it was a fucking stupid segment. It was a stupid fucking segment. Okay? Like, obviously they tried to exchange. Charlotte Flair was being unprofessional, put the title down. Becky threw the title. And this entire segment just really devalued the championships. Like, them being, like, they just threw the titles to the ground and threw them at each other like it was fucking toys. How the fuck is anyone supposed to take these championships seriously when you're treating them like absolute garbage? Because that's exactly what happened in this segment. They treated those championships like absolute garbage. Okay? And Becky Lynch throwing the Smackdown Women's title at Charlotte Flair was a planned thing by WWE. So we're just throwing championships at people now, just disrespecting the prestige of the championships? It's fucking stupid, bro. Like, why should I care about the championships now? After what happened last night? Why should I care? Disrespecting the fucking championships like that. No wonder they're a fucking joke. Okay? It's already bad enough that the women's division is in the worst state it has ever been right now. Okay? And now you want to disrespect the women's championships behind all that? Unfucking believable, man. I don't understand this fucking company. And then Sasha Banks comes out. She interrupts. Becky Lynch leaves. Sasha and Charlotte Flair brawls. And it was a horrendous way to end a show. And again, the show was okay. It wasn't like good. It wasn't bad either. There were some things that I like. But overall, it was just a below average show. Okay. Honestly, if it wasn't for the Roman Reigns segment, I would say that this show would be fucking unwatchable. Okay, that's how bad SmackDown was last night. Okay, well, I won't say it was bad. It was just meh. Okay, the only thing that stood out that was absolutely incredible was the Roman Reigns segment, but that's about it. Okay, and it's funny to me that if it wasn't for Roman Reigns, like SmackDown would be in a bad state like Monday Night Raw if it wasn't for Roman Reigns. Okay, Roman Reigns is keeping SmackDown afloat right now. Okay, again, if it wasn't for Roman Reigns, then SmackDown would be just as bad as Monday Night Raw. Okay, that's all I gotta say on that. So, we talked about that. Let's talk about AEW Dynamite. Let's talk about AEW Dynamite. So before we talk about Dynamite, I'm gonna talk about what's going on between Eric Bischoff and Tony Khan. So apparently they've been going back and forth as of late. Okay? And here's what both men have to say. Let's start off with Eric Bischoff. And again, the articles are in the description. So if you guys want to read the articles for yourself, the links are in the description. But yeah, here's what's being said by both Eric Bischoff and Tony Khan. Eric Bischoff, right here. Eric Bischoff shot back at Tony Khan and AEW on the latest episode of the 83 Weeks podcast when he addressed some of Khan's recent tweets referring to Ted Turner and WCW along with AEW's ongoing war with WWE. AEW's owner and president Tony Khan took to Twitter last week to share his thoughts about WWE and SmackDown to extend their show an extra half an hour to compete with AEW. In their tweet, Khan referred to how he can't wait to finally beat WWE's main show head-to-head. Former WCW president Eric Bischoff was very critical about Khan's predictions of outperforming WWE and stated that it was a bad move for AEW's business. It was also stated that the tweet didn't do AEW any favors, and I talked about how they had 200,000 less viewers that night than SmackDown. Let me first say that I am pulling AEW to be hugely successful, Bischoff stated. I'm a supporter of AEW. I'm grateful that AEW is doing well on TNT. There's a lot of things I like about AEW, but some of Tony Khan's comments this week are not doing him any favors. And let's put it this way. I think it's cool that Tony Khan responded, and AEW responded to the fact that WWE did a half-hour overrun to challenge AEW as their show started at 10 o'clock. I like that and think that is great. I would have tried to do the same thing, so I have no criticism for what Tony is doing. But I think some of the things Tony is saying is not a good look. To come out and predict that AEW was going to outperform WWE. Keep in mind, for all of you that are out there who are focused on ratings and demos, nobody is pulling anything into context. The wrestling audience want there to be a legitimate Monday Night War version 2.0 so badly that they all participate in a cosplay competition. To come out and predict that AEW was going to defeat SmackDown on FS1 was a bad choice. SmackDown delivered somewhere just under 800,000 viewers. AEW delivered just under 600,000 viewers. Not a good look. It was the tune of 30 to 35%. That's not insignificant. Even more so, that all happened on Fox Sports 1. Tony Khan's tweet did not do AEW any favors. You might have served the internet fan base, but you're not serving your business well because you got your ass kicked on Friday night. Simple as that. Along with his tweet on Smackdown, Tony Khan also posted one being critical towards Ted Turner, saying that he knew that 1% of what I know about professional wrestling, then WCW would still be around today. Being the former president of WCW, Bischoff was extremely critical of Khan for those comments, saying the tweet was ignorant and made him look uninformed by saying it. That was completely uninformed. Therefore, ignorant comment to make, Bischoff said. Ignorant because I don't think Tony knows whether or not Ted Turner grew up a wrestling fan or not. I don't either, by the way. If you know anything about Ted Turner, if you read anything that's been written in Ted's own words, Ted believed in wrestling above all else than perhaps the Braves. Professional wrestling is one of the reasons that TBS got off the ground because Ted Turner knew that professional wrestling was the staple I lost my spot. Staple of the audience that he was trying to generate and knew it would bring eyeballs. The fact that Tony Khan is even on TNT, which at least when I was there stood for Turner Network Television, and then to come out and compare himself to Ted Turner and suggest if Ted knew anything at all about professional wrestling on the level that Tony Khan does, that WCW would still be around. That was an ignorant statement. Further, it has got me questioning whether Tony really knows. Read the book, The Rise and Falls of Nitro by Guy Evans. Tony, if you're going to come out and compare yourself to Ted Turner, which is laughable, and to say things like that, read the book. You're not embarrass yourself. Oh my God, I can't even say it today. And say things like that. Read the book. You will not embarrass yourself quite as badly. I thought the statement really made Tony look childish, uninformed. I know he's a brilliant guy and I like Tony. He is doing a lot of things right. But when it comes out publicly and saying these stupid things, he's coming off like a dirt sheet writer. That might serve your internet wrestling audience, but it's not doing a damn thing for your ratings. Bischoff continued his criticism of Khan and AEW, saying that he is tired of hearing how much better than the company is than WCW when they haven't proven it. The WWE Hall of Famer also mentioned that AEW needs to embrace being an underdog and stop talking about competing with WWE, who makes more money going over Saudi Arabia one weekend than AEW is going to make from Turner the entire year. They are the underdog. AEW at this point, where people want them to succeed, but continually talking about how much better than they are than WWE, than talking about the competition. First of all, they are not in competition with WWE. They are in the same industry, but they are not competition in the real sense. If you're going to say you're competing with WWE, then let's talk numbers, because numbers are objective. Is AEW anywhere near WWE in terms of revenue? No. WWE is going to make more money going over Saudi Arabia for one weekend than AEW is going to make from Turner the entire year of programming. So there's no comparison from the revenue point of view. There's no comparison in terms of their global viewer footprint. On what basis is their real competition? As previously reported during the podcast, Bischoff also talked about advice he would give to Tony Khan and discussed another post the AEW boss made about his company in the 1996 WCW stage of their development. Bischoff finished off their comments on the podcast by talking about what bothers them the most about AEW and how they're not even close to 1996 WCW. The whole cosplay competition, burying your competition while they're kicking your ass. Bischoff said, whatever matters is the numbers, and when it comes to the numbers, AEW has got a long way to go. They're not even close to where I was in 1996. Not even close in terms of real competition, because they are not really competing. So there is that. So before I go on to Tony Khan said, first of all, there's some things that I agree with what Eric Bischoff said in this article, and there's something that there's some things that I disagree with Eric Bischoff. Let's first talk about what I agree with. The tweet that Tony Khan said about how Tony Khan doesn't know much about, like, how Tony Khan doesn't know anything about professional wrestling, because if he did, WCW would still be around. Honestly, I think that's kind of an ignorant thing to say by Tony Khan. Like, don't get me wrong, I love Tony Khan, but come on, man. I thought that was pretty ignorant by Tony Khan. Okay? So, yeah, like, I can understand where Eric Bischoff is coming from. Like, he even brought up a good point. Like, professional wrestling was one of the reasons why TNT even existed in the first place. Because Ted Turner wanted to bring professional wrestling to his channel. So, like, I mean, and like, Ted Turner really went all in with WCW, and WCW was fairly successful. So, to say that Tony Khan didn't, like, Ted Turner don't know much about WCW, like, I don't know about that. I feel like that tweet was kind of unnecessary and kind of ignorant. So I kind of agree with Eric Bischoff right there. The other thing that I can kind of agree with, and I can see where he's coming from, is that WWE and AEW are not really in a competition right now. Because now, could they be in competition in the future? Yes. Okay. Does AEW have the potential to go head to head with WWE and give WWE a run for their money? Yes. They have the resources. They have the talent. They have the star power. Okay. I think AEW can give WWE a run for their money. Okay. But yeah, as of right now, AEW is not really in competition with WWE. Because if that was the case, then AEW would have, like, go against Monday Night Raw on Mondays, and Rampage would go, well, technically Rampage would go against SmackDown on SmackDown's time slot on Fridays. But obviously that's not the case, because that's not Tony Khan's impression. Okay. Tony Khan, he didn't even want the war to begin with. He didn't even want to go against WWE to begin with. So this all goes back to basically Eric Bischoff, like, basically accusing Tony Khan of basically accusing Tony Khan of, like, going into competition with WWE. Now, again, they're not in competition right now. Okay, and I can agree where Eric Bischoff is coming from. Okay, but I don't think Tony Khan never wanted this war to begin with. He never wanted this war to begin with. He was just doing his own thing because he loves professional wrestling. Okay, so yeah, I do agree with Eric Bischoff that AEW and WWE are not in the same league right now. Okay, but yeah, that I can agree with him there. I can definitely see where he's coming from there. But here's the thing that I disagree with. Two things that I disagree from what he said. Okay, so water real quick. I've been talking a lot. Woo. Okay, let's continue. So one of the few things that I disagree with his statements was, one, the way that he's acting like, oh, that SmackDown on FS1 like massacred AEW Rampage in the ratings. And this happened, I believe, last Friday. Okay. It wasn't exactly a huge massacre. Now, obviously, we all knew that SmackDown was predictably going to beat Rampage. 2.5 hour show. Rampage is just 1 hour. Okay, so I think it was pretty obvious, including myself, everyone in the IWC, that SmackDown was going to be Rampage in the ratings. But that wasn't really that, though. Okay, that wasn't, I think, like, here's the thing. Okay, Number one, there's nothing wrong with calling out WWE and thinking that you're going to defeat WWE. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. That's called having confidence in your product. It's called having confidence in your product. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay? Like, I'm sure you used to do the exact same thing when you were in charge of WCW back in the day. Okay? So and you right now saying that, oh, Tony Khan, like, saying these tweets like, oh, we're gonna beat SmackDown. We're gonna try to beat SmackDown. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with having confidence in your promotion. So the fact that Eric Bischoff even has a problem with that is absolutely ridiculous. Plus, it wasn't a total massacre because Rampage managed to defeat AEW Rampage managed to defeat SmackDown in the demos. They managed to defeat SmackDown in the demos. Okay. Not only that, but Rampage defeated the final 30 minutes of SmackDown. They managed to do that. They managed to defeat the final 30 minutes of SmackDown, which, by the way, had Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns in a contract signing, and Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks as the main event. Okay. Yes. Did AEW win the entire war last Friday? No. WWE eventually won. Okay? They won the overall ratings, and yeah. But it wasn't a total massacre. AEW Rampage still managed to get really good numbers. They beat SmackDown in the key rating of 18-49. Okay. Yeah, it wasn't a big win. It wasn't a big win, but it was a battle won. Okay? And yeah, so it wasn't a total massacre like Eric Bischoff said it was. Okay, did WWE win the war? Yes. Okay, but AEW did win a battle in that war. Okay, just saying. And again, there's nothing wrong with thinking that you can defeat there was nothing wrong with Tony Khan thinking that he could defeat with WWE. There's nothing wrong with being confident in your product. There's nothing wrong with being confident in your promotion. Okay? I'm sure you had the exact same mindset back when you were in charge of WCW. Okay? Just saying. So that was my thoughts on Eric Bischoff and what he had to say. Now let's talk about what Tony Khan has to say. AEW president Tony Khan joined Busted Open Radio today as a part of AEW's takeover of the show. He wasted no time responding to Eric Bischoff's recent comments on Khan speaking out on AEW Rampage head-to-head in the 18-49 demographic over SmackDown last Friday. I really like Eric, and I was kind of surprised by Eric's comments because they were coming from Eric Bischoff, Khan said. I think Eric Bischoff is probably the last person anyone would expect to say as president of the company should be quiet. Okay, but when it comes to head-to-head competition, we were in one this past week. It was only 30 minutes, and I didn't ask for it. We were in our time slot. And somebody came into our time slot aggressively. And if it wasn't the first time, they made a pretty aggressive move like that. We generally responded pretty well and are very successful. This is the first time on a Friday that we have gone head-to-head like that. I thought it was pretty aggressive what they came in with. They loaded up the biggest stars they had. And I had to make a choice. Do I change up the card we have? You have CM Punk, who is one of the biggest names of all of wrestling, and he's wrestling Matt Sydal, who is a great high flyer and a great technical wrestler and very respected, but it's not the biggest box office name in all of wrestling. That's a great match for the fans. But I had to think, do I change that to a crazy box office match to try to go head to head? And no, I didn't. I stuck with the matches we have we had because I believe in our wrestlers. Even if it wasn't for the dreams or stack matches, I was amused by Eric's comments. I like Eric when we were together, but this is the ultimate example, I think, of glass houses in some way, knowing how Eric conducted himself as president of WCW. For Eric Bischoff, of all people, the guy who got lowered down on a motorcycle from the ceiling, the guy who challenged Vince McMahon to fight him, to say that somebody should be quiet is laughable. Khan said Eric is doing an act, and I respect that, but let's be serious. Eric used to be a wrestling company executive, and now he is a commentator. And as a commentator, he's trying to serve controversy. But I think it would be pretty naive of anybody and not examine what the person is talking is Eric Bischoff, who is the most outspoken wrestling executive of all time, and somebody who got a lot of heat, but also somebody that looking at the things I'm trying to do in terms of balancing the great stars we have like CM Punk, Chris Jericho, Bryan Danielson, and people who have come in with years of experience. They got lots of TV time on television as a big TV wrestling star. Then we have people who have emerged here and become big TV wrestling stars in AEW, like Kenny Omega, Hangman Adam Page, and the Young Bucks. And to also have a whole crew of people that are young stars. A lot of them are becoming young, established stars on TV too, whether it's MJF, Britt Baker, Sammy Guevara, Jungle Boy, and so many others. Darby Allin in particular. These are the stars that I'm committed to keeping in AEW and not losing and building around. When Eric says focus on the wrestling, I am focused on the wrestling and pushing these people and not running out of the company. Chris Jericho couldn't get out of WCW fast enough. Eddie Guerrero was put in his place, and the wrestlers were told by their bosses there are only 3 guys in the company. When Eric said that Hogan, Savage, and Piper were the only 3 guys that ever threw money, or of course a slap in the face to the few other people in the room, but also what does that say to the morale of the young wrestlers who are busting their ass every week? It just doesn't make sense. So I am happy and grateful to not go off like that every week. Really, only when there's a call for it. When there's competition for us on our doorstep and we have to respond. I'm just really grateful for the fans, for their support. I think there's nothing to talk about now because I think we did what we had to do last weekend. And now we can enjoy it and also look forward to a great card this weekend. So that's what Tony Khan has to say. And honestly, I didn't see anything wrong with what Tony Khan had to say. Like, Eric Bischoff was basically judging him on Tony Khan is not focused on the wrestling, he's saying this is not a bad idea. Like, bro, there's nothing wrong with what Tony Khan said in this article that I just read to you guys. Okay, this is basically nothing but facts. Nothing but facts. Okay? Now, again. I honestly don't know what to say to this. Like, Tony Khan literally said it perfectly. Like, Tony Khan is legit focused on the wrestling. And I'm sick and tired of people in the wrestling community, accusing Tony Khan of, they're focused on WWE. Okay, they're obsessed with WWE. They should focus on their own wrestling. Bitch, that is exactly what Tony Khan is doing. That is exactly what Tony Khan is doing. Okay? Not only that, he never asked for this war between AEW and WWE. He just wanted to do his own thing. Okay. The reason why it's being considered a war because the fans want it to be a war. Okay. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that at all. And again, there's nothing wrong with Tony Khan being confident about his product, about his promotion. Okay, there's literally nothing wrong with that. That's something that Eric Bischoff doesn't get. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay, so that's basically all I got to say on this situation. But I want to know what you guys think in the comment section. What do you guys think about this back and forth between Tony Khan and Eric Bischoff? Are you on Eric Bischoff's side or are you on Tony Khan's side? I want to know what you guys think in the comment section. But yeah, this back and forth is very, very interesting in my opinion. So with that out the way, with all the news out the way, with all the big news out the way, let's talk about AEW Dynamite last night and my experience. So right off the bat, when I came to the arena, right? What's funny was I was at the stand where they were selling like t-shirts and stuff like that. And I shit you not, I saw Kip Sabian, is wearing a box. Like for the people that don't pay attention to social media, Kip Sabian's new gimmick is that he's like overrated, underlooked, and he wears like a box to like showcase that. And I literally saw Kip Sabian like walk like in the arena through the crowd, through the busy crowd. And I said, holy shit, is that Kip Sabian? And Kip Sabian literally gave me the thumbs up. Like, that is awesome. Like, I just fucking saw Kip Sabian. Like, he was close to me as well. I thought that was really cool. But we got there. I got there live. And it was just an incredible show tonight. Incredible, incredible show last night. But without further ado, let's talk about it. So right off the bat, I want to talk about Bryan Danielson versus Dustin Rhodes. Incredible matchup. Definitely a match of the year candidate. In my opinion, such amazing, amazing stuff. Bryan Danielson picks up the victory over Dustin Rhodes. But this was such a phenomenal matchup by both of these men. And, of course, Bryan Danielson is moving on in the AEW World Title Eliminator Tournament. But I thought this was a really good matchup, incredible matchup by both of these men. And if you guys have not seen Bryan Danielson versus Dustin Rhodes yet, I do recommend you go out of your way to watch this matchup. Great stuff. After that, we get a promo of the Elite. And basically, they called out the Dark Order, and we're going to get an 8-man tag team matchup next week as Kenny Omega, Adam Cole, and the Young Bucks will face, I believe it's John Silver, Colt Cabana, Evil Uno, and Sue Grayson of the Dark Order. That is going to be an incredible matchup. I cannot wait for that. After that, we get an FTR promo, basically talking crap about the Lucha Bros. Nothing crazy there. Like, again, we're more than likely getting that winner-takes-all match at Full Gear. After that, we got this Sting promo. And oh my God, this entire segment was just fucking phenomenal. Phenomenal segment. So Sting comes out. He gets interrupted by MJF. Like, it was so awesome seeing this live. And then the Pinnacle just fucking destroys Sting. And like, bro, oh my God, this was such a phenomenal segment. Such a phenomenal segment. Like, this segment right here proves that MJF is the greatest heel of the modern era. Okay? That's just straight up facts, but that's just me. But yeah, a phenomenal segment. After that, we get a Britt Baker interview, and it was announced that at Full Gear, it would be Britt Baker going against Ty Conti for the AEW Women's Championship. And I'm perfectly okay with this. I'm perfectly okay with Britt Baker versus Ty Conti at Full Gear. It's definitely going to be a great match for both of these ladies. After that, we get Ruby Soho going one-on-one against Penelope Ford. Great match by both of these ladies. Ruby Soho is moving on, and I'm predicting that Ruby Soho is going to be our first TBS champion. Now, originally, I was thinking that Jade Cargill was going to be the first champion, but no, I think Ruby Soho is going to be the first TBS champion. And yeah, she wouldn't be a bad option to be the first ever TBS champion. If anyone deserves it, it's Ruby Soho. But again, great matchup. This was the best Penelope Ford match I have seen in a while because Penelope Ford has been struggling with her wrestling as of late, but this was definitely the best Penelope Ford match I have seen in a while. So yeah, great stuff by both ladies. Ruby Soho moves on to the tournament. She faces Chris Sadlander in the semifinals. But it looked like the bunny, Penelope Ford, was going to attack Ruby Soho after the matchup, but Red Velvet came for the save. So there was that. She is also in the tournament, and I believe she's going against. I believe she is going against the bunny. So it makes sense. So yeah, I really, really like that. Really, really like that. After that, we get a small Pinnacle segment, and they are teasing the hell out of this Wardlow face turn. They are definitely teasing the hell out of this Wardlow face turn. So basically, Wardlow goes to MJF, basically saying that he doesn't like being pushed around and disrespected by MJF, but MJF saying that, like, I don't know, he's basically what's that word? Patronizing Wardlow. Like, bro, the moment Wardlow attacks MJF is going to be a special moment, and Wardlow is basically going to be the Batista of AEW. Just saying. After that, we get Bobby Fish versus Anthony Green. It was a good match, nothing too crazy. But after that, we get a Bobby Fish heel turn as Bobby Fish destroys Anthony Green. He absolutely destroys him. But then my boy, CM Punk, comes out. Baby, CM Punk. He comes out, saves Anthony Green, and it looks like we're getting a CM Punk versus Bobby Fish match. And in fact, we're getting the matchup next week. So that is going to be a phenomenal matchup. Cannot wait for that. After that, we got our second world title eliminator round 1 tournament matchup as Lance Archer went 1-on-1 against Eddie Kingston. And it was a really good matchup. I got to see my boy Eddie Kingston live. Such a great matchup. Very entertaining. Tony Nese was in the crowd. So they managed to get Tony Nese in AEW. Great signing by AEW. Tony Nese is going to do incredibly well in AEW. But again, during this matchup, Lance Archer hit like a scary bump. He was doing a moonsault and he landed on his head. So they had to end the matchup a little bit early, but of course there was an update today, and Lance Archer is fine. He went through all the tests. AEW went all through the tests, and he is all good. And I like how AEW has dealt with this situation, because at the end of the day, a wrestler's health is important. Very, very, very important. Okay, so I am glad Lance Archer is okay. I'm very glad that Lance Archer is okay. But yeah, great matchup by both of these men. And Eddie Kingston is moving on. He is going against Bryan Danielson. This, I believe, is this Friday on Ramp. Actually, yeah, this Friday on Rampage. So that's going to be a really good match. After that, we get the Men of the Year segment. And by the way, their theme is fire. But then they come out talking crap. They talk crap about the Inner Circle. Sammy Guevara comes out and basically talks crap about the Man of the Year and American Top Team. So we finally hear the terms. And we're going to get the Inner Circle versus American Top Team in a 5-on-5 match at Full Gear. But Sammy Guevara has to defeat Ethan Page next week in the matchup for the TNT Championship. And the terms are, if Ethan Page wins, then not only does Sammy Guevara lose the TNT title, but he has to split up from the Inner Circle forever. But if Sammy Guevara wins, he gets to pick 3 members of American Top Team that joins the Men of the Year in the 5-on-5 matchup at Full Gear. So there is that. There is that. So yeah, definitely going to be a great matchup next week between Sammy Guevara and Ethan Page. And yeah, it's basically all but confirmed. It's basically all but confirmed that we're getting the Inner Circle versus American Top Team at Full Gear. So that is going to be very, very fun. After that, we get a Jon Moxley promo, which is just fucking phenomenal. Phenomenal promo by Jon Moxley. Phenomenal promo. And Jon Moxley, I think AEW is teasing a Jon Moxley heel turn. And I think this was shaking things up for Jon Moxley's character. Because to be perfectly honest, AEW hasn't really done much with Jon Moxley as of late. He hasn't done really anything of importance. And I think a heel turn for Jon Moxley could really rejuvenate his character a little bit. And I think we saw a little bit of that tonight, giving like that promo of, I don't care who's in the way, I'm going to beat the shit out of everyone and get back on top. Okay, I think Jon Moxley's turning heel at Full Gear, and I'm all for that. After that, we get a cool segment with Hangman Page and the Dark Order reuniting. Awesome, awesome stuff to see. I'm glad that they have reunited. But after that, we get Jungle Boy versus Brandy Cutler. Basically a squash match. So Jungle Boy absolutely destroys Brandy Cutler, obviously. But after that, Jungle Boy trying to call out the Elite. Adam Cole comes out. He's trying to go in. But then it was all a trap as the Young Bucks super kicked Jungle Boy. Like Adam Cole and the Young Bucks destroyed Jungle Boy and even threw Jungle Boy off the stage, which was a crazy. Seeing that live was absolutely insane. I thought that was a really cool bump. And yeah, the Elite stand tall once again over Jungle Boy. And it looks like we're going to get Adam Cole versus Christian Cage at Full Gear. It's either we're getting Adam Cole versus Christian Cage at Full Gear, or we're getting Adam Cole versus Jungle Boy at Full Gear. Either way, one of those matchups are happening, and both make sense. And both would be absolute bangers of matches. So, yeah, definitely excited there. Great segment. Now, this is the part of the video where I go over the matches that are happening next week. And here's what is happening so far next week. Next week, we got CM Punk making his Dynamite in-ring debut against Bobby Fish. The Elite will go against the Dark Order. Jon Moxley will go against 10 in the round 1 of the AEW World Title Eliminator Tournament. Sammy Guevara will defend the TNT Championship against Ethan Page, and Hikaru Shida will face Serena Deeb in round 1 of the TBS Championship Tournament. So, yeah, a fairly sad card for next week. After that, we get to our main event, which is very controversial. And that's Cody Rhodes versus Malachi Black 3. Cody Rhodes versus Malachi Black 3. First of all, I just want to say that this was a great match. Before I talk about the ending, I just want to say that this was an incredible matchup by both of these men. Both men definitely delivered. And one of the key points of this matchup is that Andrade tried to help Malachi Black once again. So I'm very curious about what this alliance is all about between Andrade and Malachi Black. But Pac stopped Andrade and they brawled to the back. And basically, Cody Rhodes won the matchup without the heel turn happening. I was confident that we were going to see a heel turn last night, but obviously that was not the case. Which, not gonna lie, was a little bit underwhelming. And it was a bit underwhelming. Very, very underwhelming. Like, either two things should have happened. Either Cody Rhodes should have cheated and won, or Black should have won the matchup. Okay? Like honestly, I don't know how I feel about this, to be perfectly honest. We'll see where this goes. I will give AEW the benefit of the doubt. Okay, I just hope and pray that AEW doesn't let Malachi Black's loss be in vain. Okay, hopefully that Black's what's that word? Oh my God, I can't even think. Hopefully Black's influence can eventually get Cody to turn heel. And a matter of fact, Malachi Black made an amazing response on his Instagram. Hold on, let me see if I can try to find it real quick. He made an amazing response last night, basically justifying the ending to Dynamite last night. Hold on, let's see if I can try to find it real quick. Okay, here's what he has to say. The entire world is a graveyard. And if you think this was about putting my shoulders on the mat, you are rudely mistaken. My job was to destroy you and your world. The entire world hates you. You become the beast I set out to make you. And I was willing to make this, to sacrifice my blood for it. Enjoy the seeds I planted for months. House always wins. And I thought that was a phenomenal way. This fucking Instagram post made me think of this ending and made me kind of appreciate it a little bit more. Okay, yeah, Cody Rhodes didn't didn't turn heel immediately. Okay, but eventually we're going to get that heel turn because of Malachi Black's influence. Okay, I hope that Malachi Black makes a vignette and AEW shows that vignette on either Dynamite or Rampage to clarify this post a little bit more for the people that don't use social media or for the people that don't know that this post exists. Okay, but yeah, I think they're going long term with this a little bit. Now, again, in order for Malachi Black's loss to not be in vain, Cody Rhodes has to turn heel. The moment, if AEW doesn't turn Cody Rhodes heel, then Malachi Black's loss will be in vain, which would suck. Okay, which would be a big L for AEW. It would be a rare L, but a big L. Cody Rhodes has to turn heel. Okay, in order for Malachi Black's loss to not be in vain. But that's just my opinion. But that's my review on AEW Dynamite yesterday, and I thought it was an incredible show. seeing it live was absolutely phenomenal. Okay. And matter of fact, we got a segment after the show went off the air. And well, before I talk about it, like Cody Rhodes, what Malachi Black said on that post about the whole world hates Cody, it's kind of true. The people in the IWC mostly don't like him, and a lot of people gave Cody Rhodes shit in Orlando. So I think that Cody Rhodes' heel turn is coming. And again, for Malachi Black's loss to not be in vain, Cody Rhodes must turn heel. Okay, but that's just my opinion. But then after the show, right? Hold on. After the show, we got this cool segment with Cody Rhodes, Sammy Guevara, and the vlog team. And the Acclaim comes out with one of the best raps ever. They even took a shot at WWE. And I thought that was really, really cool. But then CM Punk comes out. They all beat the crap out of the Acclaimed. And it was a great way to end the night. And it was just a fun show. It was just a fun show altogether. But yeah, that's basically all I got to say on that. But I want to know what you guys think in the comments section. What do you guys think about SmackDown on Friday? What do you guys think about AEW Dynamite last night? What do you guys think about this entire confrontation between Charlotte and Becky? And what do you guys think about this back and forth between Eric Bischoff and Tony Khan? I want to know what you guys think in the comments section. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Much, much appreciated. Again, this was my second time trying to do this because of internet connection, but my perseverance will always pay off. I will never give up. I will always try to give you the best content possible. Okay? But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Much, much appreciated. If you guys like this video, make sure you leave a like. Make sure you leave a comment. And if you guys like the content that I make sure you subscribe and leave the notification bell so that you don't miss any of my videos. But until next time, this is Gabriel, and I'll see you next time in the asylum. Have a nice day. Have a nice night, everyone.